Hey y'all, this is Tyler Toma and I'm a staff member at the Hive. This video is going to cover how to use Cura to directly print all the Ultimaker printers. So the first thing you want to do is to launch Cura, which is a C-looking logo on my taskbar right here. If you cannot find it, you can always search Cura from the Windows search bar. Alright, once you launch Cura, check the upper right corner to make sure that the Hive account is logged in. For mine, this is my personal computer, so you're going to see my personal account. But if you log into our Hive Computers, it should say Hive Makerspace right here. Without this account, you cannot print directly to the 3D printers that we have. If Digital Factory, which is the Ultimaker's online services, is down, you can always print directly via USB. The passcode to access the printers is First, import your geometry by selecting this file looking icon right here, the big file folder, the folder icon, and then select a file you want to import. We recommend using STL files as this is the standard file format for all of our 3D printers. Alright, once that's in, let me drag that in here. Okay, once you imported all your files, next click the button on the right of the file button right here, which says Ultimaker 3 right here. Here you can choose our connected printers. Keep in mind that all of these printers may have different filament in them. And to check what filament that's in there, click the monitor button on the top right here, as you can see on my mouse. And then you can check the filament types in each 3D printer right here. As you can see in Ultimaker 2, there's black PLA and then generic PLA for extruder 2. And in Ultimaker 3, you see that there's black PLA in the in extruder 1, and then PVA in extruder 2. Alright, since Ultimaker 3 has PVA, I'm going to print on that one. The next one, the next button to the right is your filament types. Since we're using a real printer connected to the internet, it's already going to give you its configurations right here. But if you would like to select your own material, you can always do that in custom. Keep in mind, before printing, you should change out the filament in person to make sure that your print looks exactly what you want. To the right of that, you're going to find the print settings. So for print settings, there's separate profiles, infills, and etc. I'll talk to you through all this right now. So first off, there's 4 different profiles. Default is your well-rounded one. Visual cares about your surface quality to make sure your print looks good on the outside. Engineering is more about accurate dimensions and close tolerances so that your joints are good and your sizes is really accurate. And then finally, draft cares about saving time. So if you have an initial prototype or like a concept art, you can do that here. And then these numbers to the right are your print resolution, or also called your slice height. These are in millimeters, so anywhere from 0.06 millimeters to 0.2 millimeters. You can choose these circles, which are your available model heights. Okay. The next thing is your infill percentage. I believe the Stratasys tutorial already covers this, so I'm going to go briefly. Infill percentage is pretty much just your print density, if you will. Next is your support. You can choose to either have support on or off, and then you can also decide which material you're using for your support. For this one, I'm going to choose extruder 2, which is PVA, which is water soluble. Finally, there's adhesion. Adhesion just increases your surface area on the bottom so that you have better contact with the base plate. You can also always turn this on or off. Adhesion includes brims, rafts, and also skirts. If you're more comfortable with using 3D printers, you can always go to custom and change fine details about your prints. Alright, once you have your overall tray settings, the next one is, next thing you can do is to manipulate your parts using the tools on the left. To do this, click a model, And once your model is selected, it should be highlighted in blue. And then now you can use these tools on the left. So in order, they're move, scale, rotate, mirror, model settings, and then support blocks. And then also you can decide which extruder your part's coming out of. I'm gonna move is pretty intuitive. You can change your position in X, Y, or Z. You can also do it with your mouse using the axes arrows right here, the red, green, and blue arrows. Scale is what it exactly sounds like. You can do it by dimension or using the graphical interface. Same thing with rotate. There is a tool called select face to align to the build plate. All it is you can choose your flattest surface or the surface that seems most stable, and you can print off of that surface. That just allows you to have a more stable print and to reduce your print errors. Next is mirror. I'm gonna leave that alone. And the next one is mesh types. This is a little bit advanced for what we're going to do, but you can change your mesh file because STLs are meshes. You can manipulate your parts. For example, you can make your infill with extruder 2 material while you keep your wall thicknesses and your wall features in extruder 1, etc. For more details, I'm going to link link an article in the video description below. Next one is the support blocker. This one is actually kind of important. Let's talk about it here. So first thing to talk about support blocker, let me actually slice the model real quick. Okay, once you go to preview, you're going to see your print. Let me move it a little bit. Okay. Oh no. Okay. All right, red is your model material, while blue, the clear blue that you see here, is your support material. What support blocker does is it selects regions of your part that do not want support material shown. So here I can select my model, click support blocker, and add boxes next to Kirby's mouth right here. And now once I click slice, you're going to see that Kirby no longer has support material near the mouth. If I undo those changes and slice again, you should be able to see the difference. To support Kirby's overhang right here that you see on his mouth region, now there's going to be support material in the front. Okay, and then like I specified, on the left, the bottom two buttons specifies what model material you want to use. So if I select 2, this thing is going to be printed in PVA, which is the water-soluble material. The green highlighted region you see here is an issue with the file. Since mesh files are based off of surfaces, you get this when you overlap surfaces. I recommend not printing parts with these surface issues, since worst case they break the printer. The next thing you want to do is to slice your part. Once you think everything is done, click slice. And then go to preview. Here you can check your part toolpath. This is just good for a final check to see if there's any thin cross-sectional areas, to see if your adhesion base plate is good. So here you can see that there's a brim to increase the surface area. And that should be it. Okay. All right. Once you slice, you should be able to get a time estimate here. All right. Once you're done with messing with the tray, now it's time to print. Okay, and you're gonna see the print via cloud button right here. Once you click that, it should already upload the job onto the printer. As I said, if the online service is down, you can always click this this blue arrow to the right of print via cloud, and then save to disk, which should allow you to save to a flash drive. All right, that's it. For any questions, ask your MPI or always contact us during Slack. All right, thank you.
Hey guys, Stevie here, and today I'm going to show you how to load material into either spool in the Ultimaker S3. So it's pretty self-explanatory. In fact, a lot of times the Ultimaker actually gives you step-by-step instruction on just about how to do any maintenance with this printer. So the first thing we're going to do is go to this second tab here, the little maintenance tab, not the settings tab, but the maintenance tab. And it'll actually already show you what's loaded into Bay 1 and Bay 2. So in Bay 1 we have Tough PLA Black, and then in Bay 2 we just have ordinary PLA. The reason it says it's Tough PLA Black is because in the first bay it's actually Ultimaker brand PLA. So we can change either one of these we want. This is also how you would go about changing the print cores. Follows just about the same instructions. So we'll walk through the step-by-step instructions together. So we'll select this Tough Black PLA, and then we have the options load, unload, and change. So we're gonna unload it and change it basically. So the instructions are actually the same. So first I'm gonna hit unload. And while that initializes, you'll see that the Ultimaker is doing a couple things. But this is Bay 1's, I guess, Mobius tube. So what we're about to see is that the Ultimaker is actually going to take out the material from Bay 1's Mobius tubes and push it all the way down and out here where the spool actually is. So once it gets ready, you should be able to see that. So you can actually hear the motor running, and you can see the PLA actually being unloaded right now. So once it gets to this step right here, what we're going to do is we're going to flip this lever up and just pull the PLA down just like that. And this is the PLA that just came out. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the spool out. So there's this little accessory that actually comes with the Ultimaker. And the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to unthread it from this way. So we'll pull on it up until we have no amount of spool coming from this little area right here. I turned the Ultimaker to make it a little easier to see, but once you have that done, you can now remove this little accessory right here and the spool at the same time, just like that. Okay, and then now you can actually see that this is Bay 1, so you can load just about any material that you would want, maybe ABS, PLA, PVA, whatever it is that you want to use. And so again, since this is an Ultimaker brand PLA, you can actually see that this one has an NFC chip, so it's going to interface with the Ultimaker and tell the Ultimaker exactly what material this actually is. So we're going to take the same material, since there's still a lot of PLA. We're going to loop it through this again, and we're going to slide it right into the bay just like this, where you can see that that point matches up with this one almost exactly, and just slide it in like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take PLA, and we are going to, well, first we want to make sure that the PLA isn't elongated and flush like that. That might cause problems with when it's trying to extrude. So we're going to use some flush cutters here to snip off the weird broken end, just like that. And you usually want to cut at a 45-degree angle if you can help it. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. It's not so easy here because this is tougher PLA than many of the others. But once you have your PLA ready, you'll actually see this small hole right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your PLA and stick it in that hole, and kind of wiggle and push upwards up until you see it in the Mobius tubes. And when you see it in the Mobius tubes, you can snap this lever down. Then you go back into the material settings, and you can see right now that there's nothing loaded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit load right here. And this is assuming that you already placed the spool in. It'll tell you to do that if you haven't already done that. So it's going to say place new spool. I've already done that. Hit confirm. And then this is where you actually select whatever material it is you're trying to put into bay 1. So again, since it already has an NFC chip, it knows that it's tough black PLA. But if for any other generic brand, you would have to scroll and click on whatever it is that you have. But again, I have the NFC chip, so I'll hit confirm here. And it'll tell me to insert the material like I did through the little hole, snap the lever down, hit confirm. And what we'll see is the head is going to warm up. And then what it's going to do is it's going to use a little motor to push the filament, or the PLA towards the print core. And so you'll be able to see that in just a second when this finally loads. So we can see that the PLA is slowly making its way through the Mobius tube and into the core. And we'll actually see it start to extrude. And once you see that extrusion happen, you can go ahead and hit confirm here, because you know that the material is working just fine. And once you have the material in and everything else is ready to go, you can go ahead and print like you normally would. So this is if you are seeing that you're slowly running out of material and just things like that. Okay, and that's how you change out the material and everything else. Thanks for watching. I'm Stevie. I hope you found this helpful.